Well, growing up, people talked about pollution every once in a while, but I wasn't sure how much it really damaged until I could really see how much it affected us and our daily lives. I learned more about it when I got into high school. I think it is more important that, and it gets talked about more because it might affect our future later on. And so first, I'm going to tell you how pollution differs depending on every country. Then I'm going to talk about how pollution has gotten much worse over the years. So finally, then I'm going to inform you about the main causes and how it can be fixed. Starting off, I will explain to you how pollution is different depending on where you live. Pollution is very different depending on what country you're in. With some countries that may be exporting goods like shipments and everything, you can find more pollution there. With China being the country that's the world's largest exporter, this is a connection to China's pollution, and it leads to a lot of illnesses and deaths in their country. They even have certain tasks that they have to do in order to neutralize their air quality, because their air is so polluted and it gets so bad, everybody just has breathing problems. They also have such a large population living close together, and lots of countries' governments believe that in order to stay in control and in power, they need for their country to keep growing. It is said that this can just lead to no development, just overgrowth in population. With these governments thinking that all overgrowth can lead to pollution, and this can lead to unobtained land to turn into our wastelands. In some of our lower class countries, there's more pollution, there's more pollution that is more life-threatening. One example of this would be India, where when there's a gas leak that is polluted, the air and cause many deaths and casualties. They also don't have very clean water. In some areas they can be filled with bacteria that can be life-threatening and cause like any injuries to your body. With that being said, now we can see how different countries have more pollution and what some of the causes are in China. With them being the world's largest, for example, the electrical waste to electric equipment alone has already increased from 2010 from 2018 by 13 million tons. This just stresses the amount of waste and pollution that is increasing by the years. The things we are producing each and every day has almost doubled in the past 30 years. And it continues to grow as we get bigger and bigger and the population grows in the world. There is more demand for goods, and each shipment causes more pollution, which causes more life-threatening possibilities for people in those countries over there. The population, another way it has gotten worse is with all the cars and the factories that they are producing. They have been pumping bad air into our world and burning fossil fuels. They continue to be more and more factories with this demand, and our world population continues to increase. This is almost making our planet hotter because the solar radiation is able to reach our planet, and in each decade, our temperature is rising more and more. Now that we see how fast all the pollution is getting bad, let's talk about how it is being caused a little more and more and how it can be fixed. An example of this would be how fossil fuels being burned and the gases being trapped in our world that are said and have connections to climate change. One more reason we have bad pollution and that it is hard to get rid of are microplastics. Microplastics are smaller plastics that come from bigger plastics. These smaller plastics are being found everywhere because larger plastics they came from aren't really being taken care of properly. The microplastics can harm many things, including wildlife, their homes, and even humans if they release bad chemicals. Some ways we can help with the pollution is using science and technology to figure out different solutions to help clean. With that being said, only so much can be done now because it is impossible to make machinery without having a negative effect for our world. For example, the gas it takes to power the machinery to help and the bad air it pumps out, we are starting to use more electric vehicles that can help with fossil fuels being pumped out in our air. We can also use recycling, but in order for that to make a difference, there needs to be more of a bigger demand for it and people actually taking it into consideration. We can also use alternatives for using our cars. If you really don't like riding or walking, then you can also look into organizations to try helping the problem and help support them, like the Ocean Cleanup Project, which is a Dutch nonprofit organization to help clean the oceans and keep marine life safe. Finally, with all that being said, now we can see where some of the pollution is coming from and how we can help our world. I know that it is probably a lot to take in, so let's take a moment to review. Today, I informed you about pollution and the importance of doing something about it now. I did this by taking a look at pollution around the world and following up that by talking about the increase of pollution over the years. Then I finally went over some reasons for pollution and how we can help clean our earth. So I hope you will choose to inform this to others and use this information and gather it up. An important topic, it is an important topic, and maybe you can start telling kids at a younger age so we can start making a difference in this world. I also hope that you now know the main causes of pollution and how you can do a better job of cleaning our home. I also hope you know now what the main causes of pollution are and how you can do a better job of keeping our home clean. Thank you for listening to me.